What would you do if your neighbor knew every secret about you and never left? It's a fear that crawls under your skin and stays there. The first few days were filled with the usual chaos of moving, unpacking boxes, arranging furniture, figuring out which light switch controlled what. He was excited, optimistic. But then, the small things started. Tiny, almost unnoticeable oddities. He'd leave his keys on the kitchen counter, only to find them on the bookshelf an hour later. He'd close his bedroom door completely, but when he returned, it would be slightly ajar. At first, he brushed it off. Stress, exhaustion, the simple forgetfulness that comes with a big move. He'd laugh to himself, thinking he was losing his mind. He had no idea how right he was. The feeling was subtle at first, like a misplaced object or a door left open. But soon, the feeling of being unsettled grew into a constant hum of anxiety, a quiet dread that something was fundamentally wrong in his new home. The little oddities soon gave way to something far more sinister. It began with notes. Small, folded pieces of paper slipped under his door when he was out. The first one was simple, almost benign. "Enjoyed your movie last night?" Alex froze. He had watched a movie, alone, with the volume down low. How could anyone know? He told himself it was a coincidence, a lucky guess. Maybe a neighbor overheard him talking about it on the phone. But then came another note. "That new shirt looks good on you." He'd just bought it that afternoon and hadn't worn it outside yet. The paranoia began to set in, a cold, creeping vine wrapping around his thoughts. He started checking the locks obsessively, peering through the peephole before opening the door. The nights became the worst. He'd lie in bed, straining to hear over the hum of the city. That's when he'd hear it, faint footsteps in the hallway outside his apartment, stopping right at his door. They'd linger for a moment, then fade away. Every time he turned around, it felt like someone was watching. It felt like they always knew what he was thinking, what he was about to do. Then, the text messages started. They came from an unknown number. "Don't forget to call your mom back. He'd just missed her call. Looks like you're out of milk again." He was literally standing in front of his open, empty fridge. The messages were no longer just observations, they were predictions. "You're thinking of ordering pizza, aren't you? Go with pepperoni." His phone was in his hand, the pizza app open. The feeling was suffocating. He wasn't just being watched, he was being puppeted, his life a performance for an unseen audience. He started seeing things, or maybe he was imagining them. A blurred figure in the reflection of his window, a shadow on the wall that moved when he didn't. Was he going crazy, or was someone playing a cruel, elaborate game? The constant sense of being watched was breaking him down. Alex was living on a knife's edge, his nerves frayed, his mind a whirlwind of fear and suspicion. He had to know, he had to find the source of this torment. One sleepless night, fueled by a mixture of terror and determination, he decided to tear his apartment apart. He searched everywhere, behind paintings, under rugs, inside vents. He was looking for something, anything, that could explain the impossible knowledge his stalker possessed. And then, he found it. Tucked away on a high shelf in his closet, hidden behind a stack of old books, was a small, black object. It was a camera, no bigger than a coin, its tiny lens pointed directly at his living room. His heart hammered against his ribs. He felt sick, grabbing his phone, his hands shaking. He scanned for nearby Wi-Fi networks. He found an unsecured one with a strange alphanumeric name. He connected, password-free login page appeared, and with a single, trembling tap, he was looking at a live feed of himself, grainy black and white footage of him standing in his own living room, staring at his phone in horror. He scrolled through the archives. Days, weeks of his life were recorded. Him sleeping, eating, pacing, talking to himself. Every private moment, every secret vulnerability, captured and stored. He realized it wasn't just curiosity, it was obsession. It was a violation so profound he could barely breathe. The voyeurism was absolute. As he stared at the screen, a low hum started, a sound he'd ignored before, now seeming to come from the walls themselves. A distant, rhythmic knocking echoed from somewhere deep within the building. Who was doing this? Who was watching? He had never seen his neighbor. He didn't even know their name. All he knew was that they were always there. A phantom presence living through his eyes. He had the proof, the camera, the feed, the recordings. It was all real. His paranoia wasn't just in his head, he was being watched. But the who and the how were still a terrifying mystery. Armed with this horrifying discovery, Alex went to the building manager, who then called the police. They swept his apartment, finding not one, but 4 more cameras, hidden with chilling expertise. In the air vents, inside a smoke detector, even in the base of a lamp, they were everywhere. The investigation led them not to an adjacent apartment, but to a place that wasn't supposed to exist. Behind a false wall in a shared utility closet down the hall, they found it. A cramped, hidden space, filled with monitors, hard drives, and a makeshift bed. It was a nest, the stalker's nest. They hadn't been living next door. They had been living inside the walls of the building itself, a ghost in the machine. A network of crawl spaces and forgotten service tunnels allowed them to move through the structure unseen, unheard. From this hidden lair they had access to wiring, vents, and the hollow spaces between apartments. They had been there for years, a silent observer watching the lives of the tenants unfold. Alex was just the latest subject in a long, horrifying collection. Every secret, every move, recorded every life, observed. The police found journals detailing the habits of dozens of tenants, past and present, but the watcher themselves, they were gone. The space was empty, save for the chilling surveillance equipment and a final fresh note left on a monitor. It simply said, "Now you see me." As Alex stood in the doorway of that hidden room, a shadow moved in the darkness behind him, and he knew the obsession wasn't over. And now, he might be next. If this story gave you the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next dive into the unexplained. And comment below, what would you do if you discovered someone knew all your secrets? What would be your first move? For more true mystery stories that will make you look over your shoulder, check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching.